Okay, the recording has begun. So welcome everyone to this month of November, the Digital Planning Improvement Show and Tell. It's lovely to see you all here, lots of people on the call today. We've got a great lineup and I'll shortly go through that with you. We've got the user researcher team. So Ada Tutu's here. She's going to do a bit of an intro for us. We've got Rich Harris from Northumberland County Council and Charles Ewens, who's going through Horsham District Council, so sharing some learnings and hearing what they've been up to in the fund so far. And then I'm going to hand over to Paris from the providers team, and then we'll talk a little bit about what's happening next, some key dates for you and things that you can get involved in. So, reminder of the faces in the programme, you know this already. Why we are here, just a little bit around showing your progress often and regularly is really important to help everyone in the community. We're here to support each other. You can learn from things and you can share your challenges and talk all things progress and what's been happening where you are. So I will pass you over to Ada Tutu. So welcome on to the show and tell this morning. Let's hear about user research team.
This is an emergency.
Sorry, good morning.
Please leave the building.
Can you hear me? I think there's a
I'm so little bit of background, but you're okay.
Okay. Oh boy. So I think we need to leave the building, but let me focus on that.
Okay. You do that. Don't worry.
You do that. I can pick that up. Don't worry.
Oh boy.
We always get a little bit of, drama that we have to deal with on these live show and tells. It's what it's all about. Why it's live, isn't it?
Okay, so I think it's gone now.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So hi everybody, good morning. I'm the user researcher in the planning data team, the newest one. I actually work on the Submit data platform. So this platform, you might or might not have heard of it, but it's actually the platform that allows you to provide your data, check your data, learn about your data specifications, and address any data quality issues that you might have. So I'll actually share the link, but some of you might be familiar with it and some might not be. Anyways, our team is working quite hard in the background to improve the user experience of this platform through your feedback and ideas. So we are really, really keen on getting LPAs that can help us do this, help us in testing sessions, drop us any ideas, feedback that they might have on this platform, and just overall help us collaborate with us to improve this platform. So I will be sharing my contact details. If you have any ideas, want to reach out, have any questions about the Submit platform, but also in the future, we will probably put a call out to for people to schedule usability testing sessions with us to go through specific designs that we want to test. Anyway, I look forward to engaging further with you guys and hopefully talk to you guys soon. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Good to hear from you. Reach out to Ada Tutu if you want to get involved. Okay, moving on. We've got Rich. Welcome, Rich. Great to have you here. He's going to talk through things that are happening in Northumberland County Council today. Are you here, Rich?
I am indeed. Yes, thank you. Hello, everybody. I will just share my screen with you all now then.
We can see.
You can see? Great.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, so we'll get started. So first of all, a little introduction to Northumberland. So Northumberland is England's most northerly county and we're home to 316,000 people. We cover an average area of 5,013 kilometres squared. 97% of this is classed as rural, and the county is sparsely populated with 63 people per kilometre squared. Half of the county's population live in 3% of urban land found in the southeast of the county. Blyth is our largest town with a population of 39,742 people, and I hope most people are aware, of course, we're home to Vera. So if you're not, she's a detective, but fingers crossed most of you know who Vera is. Our improvement fund. So initially we were funded to look at ways to improve the digital capabilities within DM. After submitting our DPMA, the results came back and we decided to focus on data, digital design, culture and ways of working. To help us progress with this project, we put a team together of myself, the digital project officer. We included a strategic business and income manager, senior planning officers, planning technicians, planning technical support officers, website customer support officers, policy, GIS and IT. We thought that would be the best way to get a good broad overview and the skill sets to be able to look at every aspect of the DM process. So what have we been up to? Initially, we moved from our Citrix environment to AVD, Azure Virtual Desktop. We felt that Citrix was not the way for us to go anymore. We wanted more of an independent structure for the council, so we decided to move over to this. We started using Clipchamp to produce training guides. Now, that software has enabled us to create video guides for AVD, which we're able to send out for the council for people to get used to the processes of AVD and how they use it. We then moved on and switched from Unimat Desktop to Unimat Web, which has been quite a big change for us, having to learn the complete software change and new systems within Unimat Web. So Clipchamp allowed us to create 12 training videos showing every aspect of Unimat Web that we're able to roll out to DM officers and the CRT validation team to allow them to instantly continue doing their J jobs without having any major downtime. So I think that was really beneficial. We then started looking at ways to reduce communication into DM officers. Well, QR code site notices and neighbour letters is a really good way to go. We'd never had that before. So after some investigation work, we found how the syntax worked and how to link it into the public access system. So we've now got QR codes on all our site notices and neighbour letters. So that's starting to have some impact on the reduction of calls coming in, people asking questions about applications. They can see things in real time, real life while they're there on site. We've recently sent out a call for thoughts email to the planning service. This is basically for us to get feedback and ideas from everyone within the planning service. You know, it's their planning service. Where are their problems? What are their thoughts? What are their ideas? How can we improve, make things better? So we've got that out there at the moment. Some of the feedback that came back from policy was that they use Mira to produce a lot of their flows and charts, but they could do with full licenses as opposed to the free licenses. So we've gone away, looked at that and secured licenses for policy so they can now crack on and work a lot more collaboratively as a team. PlanX started to then come into focus. We started realizing the benefits that PlanX could potentially afford us within DM, but within other areas of the council. That then triggered the data sets. So then we started evaluating our data sets with the GIS team. We also have a TPO project underway, which is including site visits and going out revoking and remaking orders. So that's what we've been up to. What we're working on right now, we've got hyperlinks for consultee letters. So currently the link just goes into the standard landing page of public access. We're looking at changing these hyperlinks for consultees so it can take them straight into the application to try and take away a process to make life a little bit easier. We've got a call request in with our IT team to look at and investigate AI plan reader tech to help the validation team and DM officers when they're evaluating, making decisions on plans, rather than them having to physically go into the DMS and either copy and paste or write out the plan reference numbers, which some can be very long. It'll take away any concern of issue with mistype or any sort of problems around that. This plan reader will hopefully be able to just take that reference number and import it straight into the decision notice or into the plans box within Uniform. That's the hope. I've requested a uniform training environment. This again will sit alongside our onboarding program that we run. This will hopefully allow new members of the teams to come in and be able to physically just log on to a training environment within Uniform to play around with it without the worry of breaking something within the live system. We're looking at removing multiple unnecessary processes. We've got multiple little discussions going on within the council at the moment of areas of work that we could potentially remove to speed up automation on areas. GIS team are continuing to work on our 4 data sets to align with planning data. We're looking for efficiencies using Copilot, Power Automate, RPA, robotic process automation. As I've got there, I'm waiting on feedback as to what that actually is. You know, I'm not entirely sure, but who knows? Work on improving how consultees contact us. We've produced training videos on using public access to submit comments. We get a lot of comments submitted to us via our comments mailbox. And there's quite a bit of duplication. It can come to the mailbox, it can go to the officer then can forward it back to the mailbox because perhaps they haven't been CC'd in. So there's lots of duplication. So we're looking at trying to go out to consultees to say, please use public access to do this. And this is exactly how you go about it. So we've got that there. We're just waiting on the current update to public access to be applied. And then I'll just make sure the video is still applicable. There's been no changes and we'll be going out live with that. As mentioned, TPO project is still ongoing. We're starting to now look at ways of monitoring the actual TPO once they've been made. So once someone submits an application to fill a TPO, do works through TPO, whether that's on a TPO application itself or on a full application, how do we then monitor that going forward to find out whether that tree has been felled? So whether we then need to revoke an order that's been made. I would just put a quick plea out to everybody that's on this call. If you do have current processes within your council that work really well for you in that, I'd love to hear your thoughts because I think it'd just be great for us to get further ideas around that. We've requested a revamp of our planning SharePoint website at the moment, very basic, and there's lots of information scattered over multiple areas once you start going into multiple files. So I'm kind of wanting it to be revamped, relayed to make it very simple, click boxes, direct access for people to speed processes up. Project is now starting to expand from just a focus on DM to incorporate more teams. And we started recently working with our enforcement team on the report of breach service for new online forms and a potential internal triage form. Again, Plan X is in the back of my mind for this because I'm aware of a report of breach that's gone on with Plan X. So again, that's further focus. Apologise if this isn't very clear to everybody, but essentially this is where our project's gone to. So initially it started off with just a focus on DM and training videos. Shortly after that, we've added Plan X, and then it started to expand quite rapidly into enforcement, policy, consultees, CRT, other, which incorporates multiple little tasks and ideas. So we started using that now to really broaden our horizons and focus us on where we want to work. The key on the side, so areas that we've circled red, there are high priority areas that we really want to work on. So what's next? So I want to now look at preparing a new and easier management plan for our projects. We currently have a project plan in place, but it was specifically focused on DM. With this thought process now going forward of starting to expand, I think we're going to need to revamp this to make it better, make it easier for everybody to use, and just allow more focus on specific areas. Introduction to Plan X involving heads of service has been booked for 13th of February next year. So I'm really hopeful that we can progress that off the back of that meeting. In-house training on our systems to ensure everyone is dealing with things consistently and efficiently. So we want to get everybody on board doing their things the same way. So there's not multiple processes leading to the same results. We all want to go about it the same way so then everybody can help everybody more. Start introducing identified automation processes. Again, going back to the robotic processes request we've got in, once we get confirmation on that and how these processes could work within our current systems, we can start applying those. Continue with further training videos off the back of any suggestions that might come in. We're also looking at refreshing our internal newsletter and potentially using different tech. Sway is much more of an interactive product instead of it just being a standard newsletter that goes out that you just read. You can physically interact with it. It can link off to YouTube, to videos. So we're looking at that. We're starting to look at doing a full website rewrite to hopefully align it with more of a .gov format, because I think that's the way most councils seem to be starting to head now, and it just cleans everything up and looks a lot neater. Feedback forms. We want to start producing more feedback forms purely, it's the way forward. Without feedback, you can't progress in the right direction. So we're really keen to progress on feedback forms. And as mentioned earlier on, further collaboration with even more teams within the council, potentially going forward, maybe building control might be a prime example of where a collaboration could work really well. And that's it from me. Any questions?
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Rich. It's really interesting. Loads going on. You got some love for your visual map, and a question was around what did you use to create the diagram? But I can see Helen's answered to say it was Miro.
Yes, it was. Great. Sorry, I haven't seen the chat. I've got multiple screens open.
It's okay. No, it's okay.
Yeah, it was Miro that we used for that. Yes. It's to be honest, I've never used it up until a few weeks ago when we started creating this, realizing that we need to visualize it rather than just having it in an Excel spreadsheet of everything we're working on. We need to have a visualization, and
yeah,
I would advocate this product. It is very, very good. I find it really useful just to kind of mind map exactly what's going on, and there's so many templates within it. Yeah, honestly, if you haven't used it, I would say give it a go, because it is very good.
Absolutely. Tom, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, just again, amazing. Thank you very much, Rich. How useful was it in terms of getting access out of our Notion site? Were you dipping in there at all, or were you and your team trying to pull out useful things to help you along?
Notion I've found very useful, to be honest, especially with the information around PlanX, around BOPs, digital site notice. That's the areas that I've used it for the most, to be honest, and looking at how the onboarding works and that font of information that's on there. So it is definitely a useful tool. And again, I think people do need to engage with that, because there is a wealth of information there.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much. I didn't pay you. I'm going to give you a £5 an hour to see you afterwards, but that's great.
No problem.
Thanks for that. Rebecca, did you want to voice your question?
Yes. So what you said, you were looking at AI plan tech for your plan checking. Have you got a company in mind, or?
At the moment, no. We've literally gone out to our IT tech team for them to go out and investigate what's out there, and then come back to us with available solutions or software that we could then look at.
Well, okay, because I've been looking and I'm finding it quite difficult. I can find stuff that validates and tells you what documents, but not to actually assess the plans.
Right. Well,
unless they're uploaded by a particular thing. So I'd be interested to know if you do come across stuff.
Sure. Well, send me a message on Slack just to link us up, and then as soon as I get that information, I'll happily share it with you. No problem.
Brilliant. No, that's really helpful. Thank you.
No, you're welcome.
Brilliant. Great. Thank you. Has anyone got any further questions for Rich? Anything that you want to talk more about?
If not, I'll stop sharing. Okay.
Okie dokie. Thank you, Rich.
No, you're welcome. Thank you. Thanks everyone for your time.
Okay, I'm going to reshare my screen. Okay, just raise your hands quickly. You can see my screen now that says Horsham District Council. Yeah, okay, got a few people still here. Thank you. Cool. All right, so let's hand over to Charles now. Are you still there, Charles?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, everyone.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Charlie. I'm from Horsham District Council, and I'm part of the service design team. So I'm not actually part of planning, but the service design team, we work with the different departments in the council in acquiring new technology and making sure they're making the best use of the technology they've got. And we've been working quite closely with building control and planning as they're like acquiring new pieces of technology, and that's kind of how we came into this. So if we move on to the next slide. Horsham District, it's quite a large rural area. The main town is Horsham, but we've got lots of smaller villages around as well. We've got about 148,000 people for the population, and we have lots of lovely nature sites. The Knepweir Wilding is one that is particularly notable, and we share the South Downs with our neighbours. Next slide. We heard about the opportunity quite short notice. I think we only had about a week and a half left, and we kind of speedily put together an application, because we are very keen on collaborating with other councils, and it was very useful to get an excuse to work on the stuff that you always want to work on. You always want to be fixing your data, making sure stuff is available to the public, and it's one of those things that always ends up at the bottom of your list, and we don't want it to be there. So it gave a good excuse to dedicate proper time to it, get resources, and we're able to work on it together. Next slide, please. We were very lucky that we already had a team in place. We're currently in the process of setting up a new back office system for building control, and the building control and planning team share a lot of the team. But we were working very close together, and we had a bit of a delay on our project, which meant we had some resources around and we were able to work together on it. Our data was pretty clean for the most part, and we have some very good GIS experts in the team who were able to work on it, and had plenty of stuff already online, which was a good head start. Thanks. So as for our team, we have a head of development who has been very supportive and made sure that we had access to anyone in planning that we needed to have access to, and we're very lucky to have all their support. Along with my manager, Graham Shale, who gave a lot of support from a technical aspect at getting data in and data out. We have my colleague, Julie, who retired on Tuesday, and we're going to miss her greatly. She left just in time to make me do this presentation instead of her, but no, we're going to miss her. She was the one who filled in the application, and I'm sure a lot of you will remember her because she's been very active in these talks. But she's going to miss her greatly. She leaves really big shoes to fill, but we're very grateful to her time. Then there's me. Again, I'm part of the service design team with Julie, and we've been working on tidying up the data and making sure things are accessed, while my colleagues Henry and Gareth, who are the system support officers, have been our experts in the data and in planning, and have really good access to all the people in planning to make sure that if we have questions, we know who to ask and we can get their help. And then we've got our GIS wizard Kim, who has been working her magic to make it all work just fine. So we started with the Article 4s, which both because it was the smallest data set, but also one we weren't entirely sure on. Like, I'll be honest, as someone who isn't in planning, I didn't really know what an Article 4 was when we started the project, and it was good to have a look at it. I think that there were definitely problems with the data. We didn't have all of the permitted development rights against the polygons, but we went through all of the documents and found them and inputted them, and we were able to get them online and make sure that they were all required fields were filled in. The conservation areas was one that was mostly there. It was already live on our public website, but our GIS expert used GIS magic and made it accessible through the portal, which we appreciate greatly. Next slide. The TPO data is mostly there, but we've got plenty of problems with our tree areas. They're still being worked on, and our tree officer, Andy Bush, yes, real name, is going to be working very, very hard on arranging site visits to correct the data and make it all work better in the future. We're working, with DIS dashboard, and we're going to, it's in progress, but the thing that we thought was important is giving access to what we have currently. The data isn't perfect, and it doesn't need to be. It's what the planners currently get when they are deciding things. So we should provide it to the public so they can make sure that they have the information that we do. So the listed buildings is the one that's still a work in progress. We are, I think we've all talked a lot about curtilage and collecting the polygons in many recent weeks. But it's something we're getting there, and we are focusing on trying to get a test one in so we can see how it goes into the system and make sure that we do have all the things that we need in there. But it's something we're particularly interested in because we are planning to also go with Plan X and look at the submission services. So we want the information in there so it can work as optimally as it can. The main lessons we've learned is to concentrate on what we can do. We've evaluated all of the things we needed to fit all the mandatory fields, found where they were missing, and found where we could find them. It did involve some going through lots of documents and then trying to read it and then looking at the list and working out what permitted developments are what. But it's about making sure that the data that we have is there, and if we don't have it, go to the people who are experts in the data and ask them questions. As long as we have the cooperation, then it will work fine. So the main thing we are working on at the moment is we've got a few pieces of technology that we're going to be working on. Plan X is the big one. We're particularly interested in do I need planning permission to be able to help people, deal with the questions head on and free up some phone time. But it's something we are looking at, and we're sorting out our data so that works optimally. We also are looking at land plan for the strategic planning team, as they're currently using a lot of spreadsheets, and we would like to get that out of the spreadsheets and get proper data so they can help them do it as much as they can. These are both going to require a lot of work and a lot of configuration, so we do have the team together and we're going to be working on it together. Ultimately, we're very fortunate to have a very good team behind us, and we're on the same page and able to work together. I'm not the expert in planning, but I don't need to be, because I know that if I have any questions, I know who to ask, and that's the part that makes it work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you so much. It's really interesting to hear what's happening, and really sad that Julie's left. Have we got any questions for Charles? Anything that you want to talk more about?
I've got a legacy hand up, but I've got a real hand up. And great, Charles. Thank you very much. That was really good. Building control, is that the process? Have you designed that yourself, or have you?
We're getting APAS from Agile Building Control, and we're in the process of moving over. It's been a long process. We had a bit of a delay in the middle, which is interesting, but we're getting close to go live. But obviously then Christmas is coming up, and we're doing an office move at the same time, and it's all going to coming at once. But it's a project we're working on. We'll be looking at planning after that, which will be interesting as well. But it's good that we're here to help the planning team and make sure that they've got the support. And I know a lot of councils don't always have dedicated service design teams, so we're very grateful to be able to work together and help the implementation go along.
Nice. Thanks, Charles.
Well, thank you. Any other questions? Swati. Hi, Swati. Hand up, but you're on mute. Are you there, Swati? Maybe it was a mistake hand. Okay, any other questions for Charles? Any other things you want to talk about? I believe, Charles, you're on Slack, so I think if anyone wants to reach out, they can, right? Amazing. Brilliant. Thank you so much. And thank you again to Rich. It's really great to hear from you both. And as I said at the beginning, show and tell is all about what's happening. It doesn't have to be a polished piece of work you need to talk about. It's all about the what's happening in progress. So it was really good to hear all of that and your plans for what's coming next. I am now going to pass this over to Paris from the providers team. Are you there, Paris?
I am. Thank you, Jess.
Thank you.
So I hope that most of you have seen the submit and update platform that we build. I work in the team with Adatutu, who spoke at the beginning, who is a user researcher, and I just wanted to show the platform. It's something that we're always improving. So you might have seen it a couple of weeks ago, and there's probably another feature. We want to make this as usable as possible. So just to reiterate what Adatutu said, please do let us know if there's anything we can do to make your journey better in providing data. There's a feedback form on the pages, but you can also reach out to us as well and let us know. I will share my screen. Are there any hands? Can people see? Yay, awesome. So we've recently updated the landing page just to give you a little bit more information about what we're hoping to achieve by gathering all this data and how you go about that. If you click into the service, you can then select your local authority. Charlie, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to use Horsham just to give people an idea of what happens when you go in there. As you said, a lot of your data was great. We've got 6 of 9 submitted there, and it lets you know what's not submitted, what's live, and what might need fixing. So I know you mentioned tree data maybe wasn't perfect to begin with. That's absolutely fine. I love that you spoke about that. It is an iterative process. Please don't feel like it needs to be polished. This is here to help you get it to that point. It doesn't necessarily need to be there first. So use a check service to give you an indication of where things are. It will only spit things out if it is something like there's no references or things like that. You can provide us with what you've got, and then this can help you identify what needs to be updated from there. One thing I wanted to speak about is I know for most of you on the call, you're kind of focusing on Article 4's conservation areas, list of buildings and trees. We wanted to make this as usable as possible for many different asks that local authorities may have. So we know that on a yearly basis, you also need to provide brownfield land data. I don't know if that sits with you guys on this call. And if it does, great, you know where you need to go to kind of do this. It's the same process. But please do feel free to share the link to colleagues if they deal with the brownfield land data. This can help them update it, let us know that they've published brownfield land data on your websites, and we can pull it from there. We're working on kind of getting reminders out to people about kind of whether it's coming up to the end of the year and it hasn't been updated yet and things like that. But it was just a call out to let people know that this our platform can also now be used for brownfield land data, which came out of user research. People were kind of saying, could we not do it here? So we've added this as a feature for you guys to use. So just wanted to let you know about that, really. And yeah, be here for any questions about the platform as well. But that was it from me, as well as just a call out to say, let us know if there's anything we can be helping with, whether that is the feedback form, Slack, whatever that might be, all of your input is so helpful, and we really appreciate it.
Great, thank you, Paris. We did have a comment from Carl in the chat. Do you want to have a look at that one, or Carl, do you want to talk a bit more about what you've written there?
Oh.
Are you there, Carl? We can kind of hear you.
Unmute's not working. Can you hear me?
Yeah. There we go. Yes, hear you now.
Yeah, it seems as though basically if you've got a gone live flag on there, you can't resubmit it. What I'm trying to say is, like, because it's just a data validation service, you really need something that can be ongoing, because like you could have a back system change and want to check whether a new test file that comes out would still meet the standard, or you could have someone who actually the staff change and they don't know the standard properly, so they just want to run through that, see if it does work. Are you going to make that available so you can submit if you have gone live anyway, so it just checks that any data file that's submitted?
That's a really good.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. So
that's what we do with the gazetteers.
Yeah, I'm imagining it as I'd map the service out. So before you've submitted it, you'd get the list of things that you need to do, and what you're saying is once it's live, that ability to check that particular data is gone. Is that right? Yeah, that's really interesting and something I'll go away and look at, because I think that's really important. So thank you for raising it. It might be that we need another kind of sublink somewhere to allow you to do that. So I'll work with the developers on seeing what we can do about that. So thank you for raising it.
Yeah, I can imagine it'd be quite good for any other councils that are not on board yet, and if they want to resubmit, so if you want to do just resubmit, make sure it, getting through all the hoops, they can do that.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. So in terms of how it could work as well, if you're using an API and you make updates, they will be reflected in the data file that's present. So what would happen there is, as you said, if there was you'd made an update, if it wasn't quite right, the dashboard would let you know something needed fixing, which you're more than welcome to do it that way. But what I'm hearing is if you'd had a whole separate file that you wanted to put through check, that ability is not there. So yeah, let me look into that for you, Swati.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
I can.
Oh, thank God. It's just that I'm typing stuff and it's not delivering. So something wrong with my laptop this morning. But what Carl was saying, Paris, I think it is in your backlog. So something which is already been in your backlog, and they are working on it. So I can totally see that many LPs have come to us saying that, oh, our old endpoint is not right now, so we want to refresh the link or something like that, and there was not the options to do it. So I have been told, I've spoken to Charlie about it in past, Paris, and I think it is in this sprint. So in 2 weeks' time, it should be fixed, and there should be an option to refresh your old link if you want to, even if it shows live, you should have an option to change your link.
Perfect. Thank you, Swati.
Rebecca, have you got a question?
Yeah, so Swati did help me a bit yesterday, but the more I've looked at it, we're confused. So we've literally just started. So I've just started on Tuesday, and so we're in the early stage. So some of our stuff, I've been investigating our website, is already available on the website, but I believe it's probably not in the format that you need it. So I tried to upload the website yesterday, and that's when Swati replied. So does it, because we've got like conservation area, a map on our website. There's stuff around conservation areas that we can kind of link to maps where customers can put their address in, but is that not good enough for this project? Because I can't upload the URL for you to check it to tell me, so I'm a bit confused as to what we should be doing.
I think the link you shared, Rebecca, was like the links to the PDFs and stuff on your website. That's
Yeah,
one
it's just like
part of
they've
the
literally
job.
just got a map. Yeah, they've literally just got a map.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
So
our pipeline can't get the data out of the map, what you
okay,
shared, and we can't even scrape those files from your website like that.
right. Okay, so it needs
So
to that's that for that particular article one. It needs to be. So perhaps if I try the conservation area ones, which are maps, and I've looked at Bristol City because they've done all of theirs and it's wicked. So maybe if I just try again with the other stuff, and we can go from there. And we are meeting with our GIS officer tomorrow to kind of help us a little bit to see where we can go with some of the other data.
Show him the guidance and the tech
Yes.
spec. That the file, what you would share with us ultimately has to be a GeoJSON, CSV, or any other kind of GML link, which has to be like put it in your the page you shared. That link should be there. The data link should be there somewhere. So you have done the bit of having a page, which is great because that's the documentation URL. Just the data file link. Once it is ready, if you kind of add it there, because many LPs struggle to even create a page, so that bigger part has been done. That's great. So it's just that fixing that, having those files in that format written in the guidance and tech spec, and then adding the link in that page.
Okay.
And then if you send those link, we can then add it.
Perfect, brilliant. That clarifies it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
No problem.
Amazing. Brilliant questions and sharing there. Thank you. Has anyone got any other questions for any of our presenters today, or in general while we're all together? Hi, Rich. How are you?
Hi, good, thanks. Yeah, just an opportunistic question. We're starting to look at our local lists sometime next year, and I was just looking on the data platform, and I can see that its status is showing us on the platform. Am I right in saying that means it's right at the end of the process? But I couldn't see a data specification. Sorry, I know I'm asking about one specific data set, which is a bit off topic, but I don't know if you can help me with that. Is there actually a design specification which we should produce them to? Thanks.
Which data set is it, Richard?
For locally listed buildings. Not listed buildings, but local ones.
Locally listed building, we have got the data set from Historic England as of now. So we have got a national data set, but we haven't kind of started collecting from the local authorities. There is a discussion thread which I can find and send it to you, but I don't think we are collecting right now. So there might be a spec, but we are not expecting LPS to provide us that data as of now. There are some discussion I'm forgetting. Okay. Yeah, it's just that data design team must have kind of have a reason for it. But if I find the discussion thread, I'll put it in the Slack.
Thank you. That'd be really great. So that if we do do some work on it, if we can do it to what will be the standard sense. Thank you very much.
Also, cheers. You can provide you can participate in the discussion as well, Richard. So yeah.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? I'm going to reshare my screen. This is another reason why we do show and tells and get together regularly is the community element of this. So making sure that you're sharing with each other, and great that you're going to be hooking up with each other after to talk more about some of these topics. And that's what we're here for. That's what it's all about. So just a quick round of what's coming next. There's some key dates for you and things that are happening. Tom, do you want to talk to this one?
Yes, thank you, Chess. Good morning, everyone. So with our new administration coming in, we've got our new minister, Matthew Pennicott, and we've been having conversations around what we want to do with the next round of funding. We've got the green light, and part of that green light is the ambition to onboard new councils into the Planning Improvement Fund. You guys have done such a great job, and we can really see the progress that is being made. We're taking a slightly different approach this time around, which is like an invitation only. And the reason why we're doing that is we're really interested to see if we could form some groupings. And this is feedback that we've had from you, the councils, in terms of how you would like to work. So that's not just regional. we're really interested in working with councils that have shared services or even technology based. So if there's a council who you work with, or a neighbouring council, or somebody you speak to all the time, it's a great opportunity for them to come on board. We've streamlined the application process even more. We've even fixed an amount now. So this time around, we're only going to offer £50,000, but we think that's just the right amount in order to do the key work and not have kind of like concerns about what to do with the funding. Can we spend it the next financial year, which is actually bizarrely something of a challenge we hear. So we're going to open that up on the 11th of December, and we're going to keep it open probably into late February, and we may even extend it beyond that. But what we'd like to see if we can do is create cohorts. So it's all like waves of councils. So we can pull these people together and we can onboard them at the same time, and we can slowly grow and get that number up to 50. So that's our ambition. We want 50 new councils to join the community. The other thing that I'd like to bring out is we've had some really fantastic feedbacks. As you probably know, we've got some user researchers coming on board. We've met some this morning. And, you know, it's so powerful for us in terms of talking to our leadership, in terms of like how we're doing. It also really gives us a real boost to hear comments, and thankfully they're all positive. So if you can take a moment and just come up with a couple of sentences about what it means to you to be part of the community, just direct message your community manager, and, you know, we'll make it anonymous, but it's really powerful. So thank you very much. Next slide, please. Thank you. Action plans. Again, user researchers. We've had so many requests for, can we see all the action plans, which I know are required from the councils, and we have a fair portion, but we're still missing a few. You know, remember way back in May, it was the summer breeze was drifting through your open French windows. We're into winter time now, so if you haven't done your action plan, which you would have received notification, because once you've done your maturity assessment, we send some recommendations to you. Just reflect on your digital maturity and explore, prioritize your action areas. You have been asked to create these action plans. We're not very prescriptive in terms of exactly what they look like. Here's one example, spreadsheet, up to you. But we've got Trello boards, we've got all sorts of different things. So don't get too hung up on it. If you haven't done it, just come up with something that works for you and please share it. It'll be really helpful for us, really helpful for the user researchers, and we love our user researchers. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tom. Next up, we have our regional ODP group. So Tom briefly mentioned then, and we're also always banging the drum about community and meeting up and sharing what's happening. So we are working out if there is an appetite from all of you to start creating more groups within your areas. If you're talking to your neighbours, let's get everyone involved. We actually have a workshop straight after this at 11 online. So if you have a spare hour, please come join us after this. Just send me a message and I'll send you an invitation. But we've got a few people signed up to that. And then the next one online is on the 13th of December. And you can sign up for that on Slack. There's a message in the All LPA general channel. We're also having an in-person event in London, and we're inviting LPAs in the London and South East area. So please let us know if you can come along to that. We've got a link to Eventbrite for you to sign up. But if you haven't got that, just let me know and I can send it over. Then we have a public showcase from the PropTech group. It's going to be a really great session if you're interested about how you can use digital tools from PropTech and companies to improve elements of the planning process. You are warmly invited to attend that session. It's on Thursday, the 28th of November, and it's 2 till 3. Also sign up is available in the All LPA General channel, but if you don't have the link, then let me know and I can send it over to you. And I think this is my last slide. A reminder that we've got the general meeting coming up on the 2nd of December, 1 till 2. If you haven't been to one of those already, it's really worthwhile. It's all of the LPAs across the Open Digital Planning that join that one. Lots of news and updates and some sharing going on in there too. Oh, sorry, this is my last one. Next Show and Tell. So Next Show and Tell, if you really would like to share what's happening, it's on the 19th of December. It's going to be a very festive time, I'm sure, for all. So please let me know if you'd like to volunteer to talk through what's going on in your local planning authority with the funding. And I'm sure we'll do some sort of festive theme for that one. And that is it. So we're finished just before time. As always, if you've got anything that you want to discuss, questions, challenges, please use the Slack group, use the community. It's what we're here for. Thank you again so much for our presenters today. It's really great to hear from you. And I'll see you all online. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks, Jess. Thanks, everyone. See you soon.
Everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.